bet you understand it a lot more than you understand Windows 11. I'm just going to leave.
Yep, seems to be.
You have not appeared in my live feed.
You're live for me.
I'll take it.
Sounds like your day was pretty shit.
Ah, there you are.
Indeed.
There's
Good
Max.
show.
Max shall save us from our tech issues.
Wait, hang on, what happened?
Sneaky could not connect to the internet.
My network was doing a thing, so I had to go undo the thing.
Okay, if I global, can we kill him? Do it now, no. Oh, well. Now it's too late.
Also, did they change the fucking bookmark manager? I wasn't looking.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they did.
Oh, there's a hero. Oh, wait, that's their bad.
Recent Chrome update.
Do it now, do it now!
Referring to, so that is very likely.
Oh, fuck me. Oh, we need to run.
Alright, so, as the normal rules go, I will kick you guys if you don't shut up. So, let's get this show on the road finally. And, yeah, so, go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the belated podcast of Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9004. I'm your host, SneakyDevil, and the internet's currently working. So,
Imagine that.
tonight we're gonna start the night off with, possibly one of the most cringe-ass Ruby stories that we've seen. I don't know if we've done this one before.
Okay, that's a bold statement, my man. We've seen some
Yeah,
bad.
we've seen some bad, my dude.
This would not
Like
be
on
the
a
first.
scale of 1 to 10, how cringe?
I would give this a solid 9.
Damn.
So we have not done this before. So this is Grim Air.
Oh no.
Oh, I've read this. It's shit.
By Dead Rich 18.
Oh no.
It has lived since the beginning.
Violent drunk devil. Oh,
Since
Jesus.
before the dust settled on the world, bringing
Oh
forth man.
no, it's a Deadpool logo.
Yes. It has brought
Oh.
forth countless monsters to combat man and his creations in an attempt to annihilate him completely. Wait, what? It has brought. Wait, what? Hold on. It has lived since the beginning. Okay, so established subject. Since before the dust settled on the world, which created humans. And then it brought forth monsters to fight the humans and his creations in an attempt to annihilate him completely.
Yeah, Sneaky, did you forget to change the scene?
Yes, I did. There we go. It always surprised me that in Satan Academy, a Chinese girl goes to a Japanese school and doesn't get bullied. I think that's just because no one really paid attention to that.
I have read
Yeah.
this thing, and it is very bad.
Oh, his is referring to capital M man. Except the author didn't capitalize man, so I didn't realize that was supposed to be a subject.
I am going to drink alcohol.
You do that.
Yeah.
That really
Won't
needs to
help
stop
you.
being your first reaction to this.
Yeah, no, drinking alcohol is probably a good reaction.
That needs to be that needs to stop being your first answer for everything, Sneaky.
I mean, in this case, it certainly is the right answer.
But Max, alcohol's the first solution.
That doesn't make it okay.
But as the years pass, man becomes stronger and wiser. He becomes able to fend off its monsters. And now the creator comes to a realization it needs an heir. So this summary is all over the place in figuring out what I'm supposed to be, who the subject of the summary is, because we go from it, and then we have man as a subject, but it doesn't tell you man as a subject because man's not capitalized. So instead of just being like that man over there, it's like, no, it's actually supposed to be capital M, man, for humanity, which is actually a different word than man. Lowercase m. Despite what feminists say. Man,
No one listens to what feminists say.
capital M, referring to humanity, is actually sourced from a different word than lowercase m, man, referring to a human male.
It's a bit weird how that works, but yeah.
Yeah, well, we have lead and red, so it is what it is.
Well, it's this little, it's this little.
I would
known
say
thing
we have
called
read and red and
etymology.
lead and lead.
Yeah.
The English lexicon is stupid.
Yeah. So, with that
Yeah.
being
You know what?
said...
Language is stupid. We'll just leave it at that.
With
I
that
mean,
being
yes.
said... so anyway, so man's supposed to be capitalized, and then we're hopping between man and it. And then the author, I think, forgets to subject change again, because man was the subject once more, and then said, and now the creator comes to a realization. But then he also called man a creator earlier on, so even though I know the author's trying to talk about the creator of the Grimm coming to a realization, he did earlier just say that man was a creator. So yeah, it's kind of all over the place. I thought this story was okay long ago, but then I realized it was shit, and I haven't read it in a while. Wow, Laura, you're learning.
That's an aura moment.
Due to the appearance of support being good for profits, the Schnee Dust Company is now pro FLM.
Yeah.
No, they absolutely would do something like that too.
Oh hell yes! Listen, I had a rant about this on somebody else's show. I was like,
yeah,
someone was like, "Oh, but look, Activision's doing a good thing by getting rid of the arbitration clause for their employees," and I was like, "Did you just assume that a corporation did something for the right reasons?" Are
yeah,
It's
you
funny
an
that
idiot?
you think that.
The arbitration's
not.
actually good for the worker. Like, yes.
Well, no, it's
no.
highly dependent.
Yeah, it's highly dependent, but the worker doesn't typically have to pay a lot for it. Because now, if you want to take them to court, you know, either settle it outside of court, or you actually have to take them to court, and that costs way more money than an arbitration.
I would say the issue becomes when the corporation says you must use arbitration, and it must be our arbitrator.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. It's a bit suspicious.
But the other part of that is that in California, the corporation has to pay for the arbitration of the employee. And so a lot of corporations kind of stealthily edited their arbitration clauses for that. You know, they were like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have all of this in there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I gotta turn on push to talk. Give me a second.
Anyway, so this is a 300,000 word story. Got 2,000 reviews, 2,500 favorites, 2,800 follows, and it never finished. It's still updating 7 years later.
Damn.
The original person actually gave up on it because of RT. I read this thing. It sucks.
Wait,
Mm.
wait, the original person. So Deadrich isn't the original author?
Deadridge is the original author. It is still being published by Deadridge. It's from the other person who is currently writing it. It's
Oh,
an entire
God.
mess.
Oh,
We'll just
oh
leave it at
no.
that.
Yeah, no, I just scrolled down. Also, Max, I gotta say, when you sent me that message earlier today about the John Battle Royale that Core's now gonna be writing,
Oh no.
Yeah.
I was just really internally disappointed for a second because I'm like, this bastard is gonna do what we were planning to do, and he's gonna make it worse.
Hang on. Which thing were we planning to do?
Back in the day, for Valkyrie and Hobble, we were gonna do the Battle Royale as a finisher for all our stories.
Oh. Except it wasn't a battle royale. It was everyone gets to show up and watch these stupid characters fight. And that was
Yes.
so that's a battle royale and more an exhibition, but yeah.
Hiatus and possible rewrite. Yes, hello everyone. I am putting Grim Air on hiatus. I'm sorry, but I've been suffering from writer's block with this story. Yeah, I can't imagine why. Though I love it dearly, a lot of the fun I had when I started writing this has faded, and it's my own fault. Can't imagine why. Could it be because the idea and premise behind it is absolutely asinine and completely freaking stupid?
No.
Perish the thought.
Guys, I know I've been making this sandcastle for the past 4 years, and I just realized making a sandcastle for 4 years isn't fun. No shit, you don't say.
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
I made several story choices that were cool, but looking back, were very forced and contrived. No shit. Maybe the premise is the root of this problem. The Overlord working with Cinder, him sending Silver despite the dangers of it. The fact that the Overlord never met anyone as pure as Ruby, despite being thousands of years old. Yeah, also, never, ever do that in a published story. Please, God, enough with that. Yeah, even though this character is several thousand years old, they've never met someone this heroic, this naive, this innocent, this is etc. Please, shut the fuck up. Yes, they have. Just stop.
Like, even if you
Find
said
another reason.
rarely had he met.
It's like, that just makes the statement so much better. It's just fuck off. I have never, in my 10,000 years of existing, ever seen someone this naive. It's like, no, bullshit. People have gotten close. You can't have an outlying case of that that magnitude unless those 10,000 years you were spent literally in a hole you dug and then you buried yourself in.
I spent 10,000 years in my jerk cave.
I can hardly hear Gray. What did he say? I don't think Gray's been talking.
He said some things, but
I mean, if you
I
really,
have read it before, but that's about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I
Yeah.
can.
and it was shit.
He's coming in fine on my end. I'll bump him up a bit.
So he's
Yeah.
quite quiet on my end.
Same here.
That's a headset.
Sneaky, if you
issue,
really
that's
think
not
that
a
no one
Discord
can be
issue,
that naive, you
unfortunately.
clearly haven't read enough fucking fucking manga, dude. There's some fucking protagonists out there that are that fucking stupid.
Quite a few, actually.
No, that you've never met in 10,000 years. Yes, that will do it. Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. Huh. All right, that should fix it. I believe I've fixed the problem, gentlemen.
Amazing. It's only gone and done it.
English to Welsh, do not. All right, so let's keep going. I love that this author conveniently just put all of his story beats into this one little chapter of ours, so now we can not read the story and instead make fun of all his story beats.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Him never learning about Salem until just now. Yeah, I'm sorry if you're saying that your Overlord character created the Grimm, but only now, 10,000 years later, after Salem had been controlling them for like 8,000 years, he's finally realizing, oh, Salem exists?
I mean, wasn't Salem a recluse or something like that? I forget.
No, but this is the Overlord, the deific being.
Yeah, this is the guy that created the
Big mouth.
Grimm. And the author is claiming that all of Rooster Teeth canon happened normally except for Ruby being kidnapped by Overlord, his OC that created the Grimm.
I mean, to be
And-
fair, maybe he just had a really big backlog.
And he just never noticed, despite his active controlled war, where he is actively trying to war with man using the Grimm, and somehow never overrunning man. But Salem, for the past several thousand years, has been hijacking his Grimm, and he just never noticed.
Like he never noticed. Oh, hey, gee, I keep getting less troops in the battle than I'm supposed to.
I know, it's weird. This weird dragon shape con, they just stop responding when they get there. I
And
wonder
he's
what's up. Oh well,
so
I'll get to
weird.
that eventually.
I'll just keep sending him, and I'll figure it out eventually.
One of them's
Um,
gotta make it back, right?
Right. Most
This was
recently,
made in
my
2015.
OC throwing a giant tantrum when he found out that Ruby was in trouble. Though all of these choices and many more, I realized that I wrote myself into a corner multiple times, and it was only with the help of friends like Dragon Ball Z Nuts that I managed to get past them. Also, this is something I feel I need to address. The last chapter was an excuse for me to turn Flinch into a Grim hybrid. Terrible reason for it, I know, and definitely not worth it.
Oh.
Yes, author, you are correct. What's more, I feel like I handled my OC god poorly. I have shown him as strong and powerful, but I feel he's very generic. You don't say.
Interesting.
Just like how the our Overlord actually knew about Salem, but accidentally allowed his creations to be lost.
Oops.
What's more, he's like an expert dad from the very start. Doubt. Something that doesn't make sense given that he's the existence bent on killing humanity. Not to mention that as the story went on, I came up with more powers so that he could be more cool, but never implemented any of them due to the
Yep,
fact that if I
we were
did
waiting.
so, people
We
would
were
just
waiting
say
for the
I
I
was
wanted to
pulling
make him
powers
cool
out of his
line.
ass. Recently, I
So-
thought of an ability that he should totally have because it was very cool, so I could make Silver inherit it.
I think what happened here is the author grew up from 13 to 14.
Well, I mean,
Did he
let's see.
realize that all of his abilities
Well,
were cringe?
No, I mean, if you think about it, he started writing this story in 2015, and I can only assume that with this being the most recent chapter, so this is hiatus possible rewrite. This is chapter 39. There was 4 more chapters, a vote chapter, a 5th chapter, and the notice chapter.
Yeah,
I can
that
only
vote-
assume this was maybe in 2020, hiatus
Yeah,
and
Sneaky,
possible rewrite.
that vote chapter is
Yeah.
Dragon Blitz putting a note saying, "Hey, so the author lost interest. I'm taking it up in his place."
Jesus Christ.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, oh no.
But as I was saying, about so he wrote about 4 chapters, and then there was the hiatus chapter. So I would say maybe 2020, maybe 2019, that these 5 chapters of his that he wrote showed up and happened.
Whenever volume 7 happened, that's probably when he's just like, "Fuck this."
Yeah, no, I know. I'm
Almost
talking.
there.
I'm talking about the rewrite specifically, not him
Oh, the
saying "fuck
rewrite-
this."
The rewrite was probably like midway through volume 6.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say like 2019. Would you say probably
Yeah.
2020?
Probably about there.
Yeah. So that would be 5 years after he started this story. So
Yeah.
even if he started at like 12 or 11, he would now be like 16 or 17. And yeah, looking back on what you wrote when you were 12 or 11 and how you made your main character, quote unquote, good guy, also known as the bad guy, have all of these powers because they were cool, and like you didn't really ever say why he had those powers.
Yeah, you'd probably cringe.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
probably fucking and then then you're like, oh well, let me get back into Ruby, and then you watch Ruby season 7, and you're like, you know what? Maybe it's better I stop.
Yeah.
Thomas had seen enough. It was time for him to leave.
Thomas, I banish you to the Shadow Realm.
Oh no.
Anyway,
God, that is such a funny as hell animation. Mr. McMare discovers his ability to banish trains to the Shadow Realm.
Hmm.
Oh god, good times. Chapter 40, he said volume 6 killed his interest. Okay, so then 2018 then. 2018 or 2019 then. Chapter 40. Okay, yeah.
Hmm.
Alright. Okay. Alright then. So let's keep going. Not to mention that as I look back on my first chapters, I realize how badly written they are. God, what was I thinking with my wording and exposition dumps? Yeah, see, this is exactly why I get on people's cases, so they can have that realization like a month after they start posting and not like 4 years after they start posting and have ingrained some of those terrible habits into their writing, quote unquote style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, for example, so I'm gonna fucking call out Alvor on this one, right? So Alvor is writing a Game of Thrones Worm crossover. And while I don't know a lot about Game of Thrones, I've talked with Alvor quite a bit because I know a fair amount about Worm, but what I know even more about than anything else is how to narratively structure shit. And especially when it comes to crossovers, which I've given literal lectures on at this point, he wanted to get help, how much of Worm can he fit in without it bloating the story too much effectively. you know. And we talked a lot about this, and he wanted to put Jack Slash into the story as a character that didn't actually exist as a character, but he was more like a shade that haunted another canon character from Game of Thrones and provoked them to go annoy Taylor a bunch. And that was Jack's only purpose in this story.
Okay. Sounds
Interesting.
convoluted as shit.
Yeah, and I
Sounds very
told him
dumb.
that. And I told him that, and I explained all the reasons why it was convoluted and made no sense. And then I gave him a very easy, simple solution to do what he wanted. Because basically, the character that he had Jack haunt to make him go provoke Taylor was an asshole. And he's the reason why Jack is haunting him is because he inherits Jack's power. And I was just like, well, if he inherited Jack's power, then he should just know how to, like, what words to say to Taylor to hurt her the most. Because that's how his power works. Is Jack always just knew what to say.
Yeah.
He
I
doesn't...
will say
Yeah.
this, the idea, because some of the shards do gain some sentience.
Yeah.
I like the idea of this one being like, you know what? Jack was pretty cool. I'm going to make a copy of him.
Yeah, and see,
Just to talk to
well,
him.
yeah, there's a difference though in that, like, I was like, if you really want to do it, like, have this character, have this like shade follow him around, just have it be like his own image. Just have him hallucinate himself, but as like some sort of like distorted shadow person instead. And like it provokes him to be more of an asshole to people and to go farther and do it to more people, and it's a, you know, typical entity bullshit, right? And if you really want it, you can give it the personality of Jack, but whatever you do, don't add Jack Slash as a character for the sole purpose of saying, hey, go poke Taylor.
Yeah, no, you don't need that. Also, underplayed saying Jack Slash haunting Tyrion from Ruby.
It's not Tyrion, it's Urian.
No, from Ruby.
Oh, Tyrion from Ruby. Because I was talking about
No, I
Game
know.
of Thrones
That's
character.
that's why I said from Ruby.
Yeah.
But
My brain.
I don't think much would change. I don't think.
Yeah, not much would change.
Jack Slash
actually.
would have a fun time, but Tyrion wouldn't really listen to him.
Yeah. 17-year-old reading his self-insert Ruby fan fiction from 5 years ago. Oh god, what have I done? Ruby canon is better than this. The author now watching Ruby Volume 7. Oh, phew, never mind. It's worse than canon.
Yeah.
It's just like
Oh,
canon.
phew, I can't possibly be worse.
So it's just like canon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jack Slash would do a bit of trolling. Yes, he does in Jack do a little bit of trolling. But yeah, no, so there's a lot of stuff, and I've cautioned him multiple times against including characters from older crossovers for the sole purpose of having them retake old roles. Like, don't get me wrong, and I did give him the whole big rant spiel. Grudge Match from the Grave is a great trope. It's a very great trope when you're using characters the audience already knows, already loves, and wants to see basically have a round two with the main character. Grudge Match from the Grave is a great trope, but the problem is that to give it its due, it needs to be a focus of the story. And when
I think the the one where Shepard ends up in Warhammer, and then the follow up where she ends up in 40K, right? Where they bring back they brought back Isabella von Karstein, right?
Right.
Who was a big problem in the first one.
Yep.
That's a well done example of Grudge Match from the Grave.
Yes. And yeah, and
I still think the Warhammer Fantasy universe is like way underrepresented when it comes to like the fandom in terms of like just out
well, yeah,
there.
this person wrote a whole Warhammer Fantasy story.
Yeah.
My point is just like all we ever see is just like fucking 40K.
Well, yeah, it's because Warhammer Fantasy is not as popular, and Warhammer 40K is just a lot cooler to small minds. So, anyway, as I was saying, I gave him the whole spiel. about how it needs to be a focus though of the arc. Like you can't just have this like happening in the background as an, oh yeah, by the way, all of these characters are coming back and they're just retaking up the old roles they were in Worm. And it's just like, it's very narratively meh if you're just like, oh yeah, all the characters are back and they're all just doing what they did in Worm. And now Taylor has to
that's
go
the big problem when they do the same thing.
Yeah,
that's
and now
problem.
Taylor has to go redefeat them. Woo.
But they haven't changed or grown or evolved or
Nothing's
like
changed,
done anything that the shards would make someone do.
Yeah. And see, that's actually what Gray and I did with Undying Scarab, right? Where we had a lot of scenarios or characters that specifically were very reminiscent of people and scenarios that Taylor had dealt with in Worm. And we even had Taylor, like, acknowledge that, wow, this is basically like the shit I had to deal with before. And that's great. That's spiritual successorism. You know, that's fine. That's always a great nod to both the audience and the story. But because we're not trying to force the characters into it, we can just have the nod be a nod. And we don't need to make it the focus of the arc. We can just be like, oh yeah, wow, isn't this eerily reminiscent of, you know, something she did before? And then just keep moving on.
Oh no. Anyway.
Yeah.
Gee, this seems familiar. Here I go killing again.
With how Jack's powers, wouldn't he basically be kind of useless since his social few is heavily spec'd into shards? I thought the projected blade was also a huge multiplier in medieval society. Yeah, so basically his idea is that the entities are showing up in Game of Thrones, and all of these old characters from Worm are coming back into Game of Thrones because of reasons and stuff. And a bunch of people are showing, either the characters are showing up or the people with the powers from Worm are showing up. Which, you know, I've told him my opinion on that story, and he took it in stride.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a good Destiny Warhammer crossover?
Well, if you're talking Destiny and Warhammer Fantasy, probably not. Like, a Guardian completely ruins the power balancing of
Not
Warhammer
really.
Fantasy.
No, not.
I mean,
not really.
Well, how
No,
strong?
no,
how strong would
Sneaky,
the average Guardian be compared?
Shut up for a minute. The problem is that you can't kill a Guardian.
Okay,
Well, let me rephrase that.
there's
It's
there is quite a
difficult.
few things in Warhammer Fantasy that you can't kill, or it's extremely difficult to kill in Warhammer Fantasy as well. And
I mean,
on
yeah,
top
Yes,
that's
of
but
what
that,
Sneaky-
Sneaky, how many of them have guns?
actually, quite a few.
A lot. Even
How
the
many of them
Black
have modern guns?
Okay, fair enough. However,
There is a significant difference between Franz walking around with a handgun and a Guardian dropping in with something like, say,
okay,
the
hold on.
Icebreaker.
But all I'm saying is, if this is a hunter, there's an entirely fair chance they might also be using a flintlock.
No, we'd be using like a Magnum, not a flintlock.
I don't know. You're gonna really sit here and tell me there isn't at least one hunter running around using fucking flintlocks?
Okay, one. There's one, but like, Sneaky, imagine someone showing up with the Mida multi-tool.
Indeed.
Like, Sneaky, or God forbid they've got the Archeon the Everchosen walks out of the Hell Portal, Gjallarhorn rocket.
Also, because in Warhammer Fantasy, there's a fair number of people that also are very used to dealing with resurrectors. So it's not like a...
They have undead.
Yeah,
easily.
they also have Tomb Kings. So and there's also a shit ton of magic based around making sure dead people stay dead.
Yeah.
So it's not entirely power balance tilted. But, you know, it wouldn't be that great to write about because Destiny is about the individual while Warhammer Fantasy is about the war.
I was also gonna say, fucking Vlad
Now,
von
listen,
Karstein exists. The man
there's
just
a
goes
lot-
like, "Fuck
Now,
Nurgle
listen,
rot."
Yeah.
There's a huge amount of difference that a guardian can make. But the ultimate issue with it is the guardian cannot make a difference in every battle unless you've given them their, I forget, what are the ships called in Destiny?
Oh, like the personal transport ship?
Yeah,
I don't know, a skipper or
I
something?
thought. Yeah, even if they even if they have a sparrow, a sparrow
sparrow,
only goes
yeah.
so fast.
Yeah.
Um,
Cade would like a word.
well, I was initially thinking of like their orbit capable ships, which
Yeah.
would make its own,
yeah.
right? Unless you give them that, they cannot make a difference in enough places.
But yeah, as far as 40k, honestly, the same problems really exist for 40k. It's actually worse in 40k when it comes to a Destiny crossover, because unless like the entirety of Destiny is crossing over into 40k, again, one single Guardian is not going to be able to make the difference.
Well, especially like it's almost right. It would be exceedingly difficult
Yeah.
for a single guardian to make the necessary difference in fantasy. God forbid they're in the actual 40k.
If sword logic in 40k would be nightmare fuel, yeah, very much so. Especially because it's been proven that Guardians can use it.
I'm sorry, what logic?
Sword logic, it's how the Hive operate in Destiny.
I don't
Oh.
understand. What is sword?
Okay, so sword logic can basically be boiled down to if the sword cuts something, it's a sword. If the sword cannot cut something, then it is not a sword. And the sword breaks. Basically, combine orcism with extreme results.
Gotcha.
So basically, because a sword is a sword, it can cut anything because that's what swords do, they cut. So because the sword can cut anything, it can cut you, despite whatever armor you have.
I mean, that's really not that big of a problem in 40k, like, because 40k kind of already has that in the form of force blades.
Yes, but the issue with sword logic, it comes from the fact that everyone can use it.
I see. Yeah. But I mean, then again, everyone can use a power sword. Granted, not everyone can get a power sword, sure, but
Right, but no, the reason why it's so dangerous, it's like if every orc knew that knowing that their blade was a blade was somehow a power sword now. That's the equivalent. If every
I
orc
see.
just realized that because a blade is a blade, it can cut things, every orc now has a power sword. It's like,
I
yeah,
see.
that's not great.
The sword is a sword, and now watch me
unfortunate.
cut. I see. Okay.
Now
yeah,
look
that
at
would
me
be a problem.
move!
Well, and
yeah.
like, and of course, then there right, and that doesn't even start covering like the powers that guardians have, right?
Well,
like,
the
do
fun
they show up?
Fun little bit, right? So, a guardian ends up getting a greater worm from the hive as a gun, and this isn't like a forced thing, by the way. So they beat the worm, and the worm turns into a gun for the guardian because the worm is like, you guys are the greatest example of sword logic in existence. I will serve you and gain power from it. Here is a cool gun.
Which is terrifying.
And the Guardians, shit you not, looked at the gun, said, hey, cool gun, and used it.
Yeah, it about fits for the guardians.
Hmm.
You just gave me the terrifying idea of a fucking guardian in the ship from System Shock 2 fighting the
I was
many.
also speaking about the philosophical implications of Guardians ending up in 40k. The idea of chaos being a force for good will shake the Empire. Why would chaos be a force for good?
That's a very good question. I feel like chaos would never be a force for good.
Corn chainsaw. Yes.
And of course, the idea of a Chaos Guardian is terrifying. Now, I mean, look, here's the thing, right?
It'd be pretty funny.
Guardians are theoretically forces for change. And void magic is, as far as I know, just literally entropy.
Yeah, it's harnessed entropy. Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, I can
Nurgle
easily.
and Zinj.
Well, no, just Nurgle. It's entropy.
Well, no, Nurgle isn't
but
entropy. He's decay, which is a little bit different from entropy.
Okay,
Well,
yes,
first
but,
of all, we said
but
change.
for
Nurgle
argument's
is not
sake,
change.
No, change would be Zinj.
yeah, I know change is Zinj. I'm saying Nurgle is the concept of rot and decay, but this is the other important thing, also rebirth. Like, Guardians kind of fit Nurgle to a T.
Right, except the problem with Nurgle is that he's the negative interpretation of all.
Right, I understand that, but my point is, this is the Imperium. They would go, oh, you're just a Nurgle cultist.
And not really. No, like, no one would accuse the Guardians of being chaos cultists, as far as them existing goes.
I think you're being too generous with an interpretation of the radical insanity that is the Imperium.
They would obviously be accused of being chaos cultists the second they started being resurrected with a white light, and obviously, like, even though it's a little bit more in favor of being saints sent by the Emperor, quote unquote.
Well, I mean, I would just say, I think that largely depends on what power they use for, right? Like, obviously, if one of them busts out, like, the golden gun.
Is this new lore that they added? Is this the new Beyond Light lore? Underplayed?
Isn't Beyond Light fairly old by now, or am I tripping?
No, Beyond Light is the new expansion.
Okay.
I mean, it is old by now, but it is the new expansion.
So I would just say they're working on the next one, which is like Witch Queen or some stuff.
Where the Witch Queen is, you didn't kill me, so therefore I became stronger, and everyone's like, fucking sword logic.
Oh.
This has kind of been in the game the whole time, but hidden. I mean, okay. Yeah, Jin, you can't drop links. Put it in the Discord. I mean, if you say so. Again, that's not really lore that is obvious to anyone. So the biggest problem with Destiny is its lore has been absolutely hindered by Bungie.
You mean Activision?
Like, no, Bungie.
Here's the thing. Look, as angry as I am, Bungie has started actually telling a frickin' story.
Right, yeah, but the point being is that the lore in Destiny 1 was absolutely horribly handled. Like, you had to go buy Mountain Dew to get Destiny lore. And then
the biggest problem with Destiny was all the lore was online. Like, you had to go.
But no, that was the Destiny 2 carried on the tradition. They started fixing that over time, where they started actually putting the lore into the game. Shocking idea, I know, but it wasn't until like most recently where they actually were like, oh, we should probably give the players the lore as they're playing the game.
Well, and I will say, I saw someone who gave a whole thing like, it's a good thing they killed Cade, and they're like, oh, because they're trying to tell a serious, grim story, and they can't do that with Cade. And I'm like, okay, you might be right, but like, they removed all player agency.
So players really like Cade.
Well, yeah, for one, Cade was super popular, you idiots. For two, you have to understand the fact that there's an entire section of people, right?
Yeah.
I was willing to keep playing after they killed Cade, even though he was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But then as soon as they started dropping hints that the new Hunter Vanguard was going to be the guy who killed Cade, the guy who you gave us an entire expansion of murder this man, I was like, that's it, I'm out.
But he got
'Cause-
redeemed.
That's great.
But
like-
Atin, he got redeemed.
I know, but as minimal as the insertion of me into my Guardian as a personality is, fuck that.
Yeah, that's really fucking stupid.
Also,
Like-
the excuse of they killed Cade to make a serious story doesn't even really hold water, because ultimately at the end of the day, Cade was a great facet of human reaction to the whole scenario of Destiny, of just a what? I'm unkillable. Time to fuck around and find out what happens.
Indeed.
Like,
He fucked around and he found out.
like they even made a massive nod to that in the Destiny trailer, like the Destiny 2 trailer, when they're like, oh yeah, you know, what's his face Vanguard dude, he's giving this big speech about honor and duty and doing the right thing, and Kane's over here with an even bigger crowd around him being like, they blew up our stuff, are we gonna accept that? We killed a lot of people for that stuff. And everyone's like, yeah, we wanted our loot.
Well, no, he doesn't even go there. He starts with, they blew up our home, and they blew up all my stuff. And then, how does he get them to show up? How does he get the entire crew to roll out? Guys, if you help us murder all of them, you'll get cool shit.
Yeah. So literally, Cade spoke to a faction of humanity that was just like, yeah, we're unkillable now. Yeah, we're not the best sort of people. But, you know, fucking around, finding out, and collecting cool shit, we're there.
Hell yeah.
The whole thing is
The crow
ridiculous.
lifestyle.
And the thing that I don't like about it is, right, there used to be some scenes where the Guardians would, like, talk a little bit or kind of react to the world. It wasn't a lot because, right, they were trying to keep the Guardian largely silent.
Neutral, yeah.
And, okay, sure, fine. But, like, they didn't even include a thing, right? Like, right, you could have included a scene where hunters specifically got to go, are we really just gonna, like, Zavala? Ikora? Are we really just gonna let this guy just... Really? We're not even gonna, like, break his knees once?
Anyway, so, multiple blah blah, but realized so poorly they're writing it. Yeah, they absolutely just started winging so much of it. The entire backstory of Orcs, who was a big bad in expansion, was found online in Card You Collecting Game, which sucks since Book of Sorrows are pretty good. Yeah, it's a massive issue when you make your media, when you make your lore multimedia, that isn't supplementary. Like, this is core lore of why you should care about stuff in the game. And I have to go buy some fucking Mountain Dew for it. Yeah, no. Blizzard's finding this out now recently, that it turns out when you put the reason why a fan favorite character is now evil into a book instead of the massive multiplayer game you've been shilling for the last 10 years, and people get mad then when they don't understand why the character they like is now doing a bunch of dumbass fucking decisions. So you can't just be like, oh, we put it in the book though, guys. What book? Oh, this one. Like, you didn't tell anyone about the book. So we're just supposed to just magically know about this book, go out and then buy the book, read the fucking book, and then come back to the MMO we're mid-questing in and be like, oh, that's why she's doing this now. I'm so glad I went out and bought a book in the middle of my questing experience so I could figure out why the character is angry.
when they gave us the Arthas book. The Arthas book took material from the original game and then built on a story that we already had, and then took stuff from the MMO and recontextualized it to make it make more sense.
Yeah.
Bro, imagine reading in-game stuff. Couldn't be me.
But honestly, like Wrath of Lich King I'm so happy that Wrath of Lich King is being held up as this standard of like this last good expansion, because it really was. Wrath of Lich King did a lot of things great, and one of those things it did great was it didn't have too many walk with me and learn scenes, where pretty much all the lore you learn in Wrath was directly like you running around doing something happens, and it's like, oh, you know, shit's exploding, and the person's like, oh, fuck, you did the button, and you collected the stuff, and oh, it's all going wrong. Oh. It's like, oh, that's cool.
Neat.
And, you know, sometimes you'd have moments where you should, like, stick around and listen. But it wasn't, like, all of the moments were like that. Like, a lot of the moments were being told to you through you killing bosses or, you know, making progress, quote unquote, in the invasion. And though recently though, they kind of just have characters talk, like they're doing the Borderlands 3 approach now, is basically what they're doing, where the characters kind of just talk like you don't exist anymore. And when you do exist,
I was gonna say,
you're
they're
kind of
doing
just,
that
like,
in Destiny 2 as well, where the story is happening independently of the Guardian, right?
Yeah.
At least when people thought of the Guardian as, right, at least when you were the hero,
Yeah.
right, and everybody was like, we're asking you to do this because you're the hero, right? No one else can get this done, right? Now we're just some kind of mindless murder meat machine.
Murder meat. Hey everyone, Dragon Ball Blitz here. As you all know, I've recently taken up the mantle of writing Grim Air as in Deadrich's place. Seeing how he's kind of lost interest in Ruby as a show, so now I'm writing it for him. So, I guess the rewrite didn't go ahead?
No. Oh, he decided on 40, I think, to just continue forward. And then
Yeah, but in the rewrite
Dragon
chapter,
Blitz.
he was questioning if he should rewrite it or not. And then chapter 40, Grim Air is back. I've decided to finish what I've been doing rather than do a rewrite.
And then the immediate next chapter, I think he said, hey, fuck this. Yes, it's all Dragon Blitz.
Epic.
Yeah, oh yeah, wow.
Fuck this, I want to do it.
Let's see, chapter 39. Wait for this chapter, big chapter, Dragon Blitz. Yeah, with each chapter, more and more gets handed over to Dragon Blitz. Yeah,
Poor guy.
with each chapter, it's... Guys, yeah, thanks to Dragon Blitz, I was able to finish up this chapter. Yeah, guys, thanks to Dragon Blitz, a large portion of this chapter was done. Yeah, guys, this chapter was just written by Dragon Blitz. Next chapter. Hi, guys, it's Dragon Blitz here. I've taken over completely writing this story.
Yeah.
It's a story in 4 parts.
Oops.
Literally.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Deadrich is doing a Warhammer 40k Ruby crossover if you want to cover that thing.
Yeah, sure, let's cover that.
No. Hooray. Why?
Man, we won't be able to tie in our giant hour-long discussion into this. Yeah!
Why? Now they're gonna go in another
That's why I
fucking hour of random,
why I did
unrelated
it.
bullshit. You cunt.
Let's see what here. I've taken up writing the story. I'm kind of... See, I kind of lost interest in Ruby as a show. I'm writing it for him. That's not why I'm here today. We're here today because I am stuck. You don't say! Help me, Crony-chan. I'm stuck.
Wish we could turn back time.
You can turn back time.
Oh shit. Wait, but Callie says I can't. Can't turn back time.
That was their interactions are great. I love it. Crony's the best. I don't know what to do next about Silver/Ruby Rose. I personally want to see Silver become good again. I'm tired of seeing fanfics where Ruby is evil because she's evil. You are writing a story where Ruby is the grim heir, the heir to darkness itself and the death of humanity. I want Ruby to be a good character. Okay, Rooster Teeth.
Welcome to this story.
Wow. Alright.
Okay, Rooster Teeth.
Gonna do that to him, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that to him.
Oh, man.
I also don't want to go against what the fans want to happen, though. Okay, Rooster Teeth. The way I see it, Monty always tried to keep it close to what the fans on what they wanted to see. No, Monty did what he fucking wanted to do. He didn't give a shit about what the fans wanted.
Monty was in this for himself, but he did like the fan interaction.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
it was usually
obviously.
it was with side stuff that fans got a lot of input with.
Yeah.
That's what he's ignoring here.
Yeah.
Like-
Monty was
It was
very
it
appreciative
was
of fan interaction.
quite
He's just
literally
like,
over Monty's cold dead corpse that fans got to dictate the story.
yeah, it's yeah, actually, literally.
Oh. Oh God, you're right.
That's
Oh.
unfortunate.
Hey Monty, I
Like-
think we should move this to a more slice of life romance story over my cold dead body.
Yup.
Guys,
And he's been dead long enough. I can make that joke.
yes.
The way I see it, blah blah. Good example of this was when he asked for fans to come up with outfits. Oh wow, guys, this is such a great example of fans being able to dictate content in a giant story. Is what they came up with an outfit, guys. That
Oh my god. Wow.
that is clearly super plot relevant and massively changed how the story played out. Velvet's outfit, guys. She showed up a whole 2
Amazing.
times in the story.
Fucking amazing.
3 times? Thank you. Wait,
Essential.
3 or 4 times. Whatever. She showed up and then she was gone.
Absolutely critical.
Oh.
We need to make an open investigation to make sure Miles didn't Epstein him. You know,
He has a point.
that's fair enough.
I'm gonna be honest. That is, if Miles is capable of that, completely underestimated the dude.
The real reason why Bernie left.
He was next.
He was next. He knew too much.
You can't get me in Europe.
Can't give me
So-
He
He
can,
Shut-
but
oh, wait,
I
where
thought
was
I
it?
would make it a vote for you guys.
In Europe he was.
Here's the vote. A. Ruby becomes good again. Silver stays evil. You want something in the middle. Somewhere between good and evil. Or D. Something else. Write your own result. Leave a review to tell me which one option you want.
Sneaky, clearly we should put in the option Ruby grows a dick and seduces her entire family and see if they take it.
Updated
I mean,
as of July
they would.
12th, 2021. Hello, everyone. Dragon Ball Z Blitz here. So, this is
Dragon my
a
balls.
chapter that serves 2 purposes. First, I have counted the votes, and I have an outcome of what people want the most. And I must also give you an apology. For you see, for the past 3 years, I've been molesting Dead Rich 18.
What the fuck? Oh no. You've been using him as a fucking meat puppet.
Wait, why is chapter 42 doesn't exist?
Well,
It's
It's,
not a chapter 42, it's literally just a fucking author's note.
Wait,
it's a hallucination.
wait.
A trick of the mind, Sneaky.
Oh no. Oh, that's what chapter 46 is then. The Oh my god.
Also, the option is C, which is, I believe, is good and evil. I've fucked up. I didn't
yes,
show
okay,
what
that makes
happened
sense.
after Yang passed out in last chapter. I thought I did, so please accept my apologies. I plan to redo the chapter and show what happened after Yang fell asleep. This is my deepest apologies. You guys deserve better. I will not make the same mistake again. I swear, I'm so sorry. He's literally making an apology video over forgetting to include Yang passing out. Notice! Chapter 46, final chapter! I know you guys are confused as to why I removed the chapter. You see, due to an oversight, I forgot a very important scene. We are currently rewriting the whole chapter, and it should be back up soon. Also, Dragon Ball Blitz has reconsidered the voting thing as we recently regarding Grim Era's fate and is no longer using the results from it. We're sorry we made you vote for it.
No, hey, at least they had the intelligence to realize it was a bad idea.
Hey, maybe letting the fans choose how we write the story is not a great idea. No shit.
Really?
You don't say.
Could it be?
Alright, Dead Rich. What are you doing these
Guys.
days?
He's definitely dead.
So yeah, Return of Faith. Long ago, angels came to Remnant and brought with them enlightenment, the Emperor's word. They spread faith and hope across the world and then returned to the stars. People prospered under the faith. And then came the heretic king. Fucking Ozpin. Now, faith is outlawed, and its members are hunted as criminals, but the hope remains. In hidden places, the faithful gather and pray to their God and await the return of his angels. So this is major cringe. I already hate it.
Excellent.
Wow, yeah, this guy can't seem to fucking write any story. Hiatus, 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 up for adoption, hiatus. The only story he apparently completed was a BioShock Frozen crossover of 60k words.
Why?
Telling the story of Project Delta and Elsa as father and daughter.
What?
Why?
I'm confused.
It's just all so wrong.
God help us all, why?
Because that's why
On-demand suffering.
he decided to show this person's thing.
This is cringe. We're moving on. Go into the cringe
Thank you.
compilation. Be gone, Grim Air. Alright, My Hero Academia, let's go! A full moon happens approximately every month. Midoriya Izuku was never outside for
Are you
his
fucking
entire
kidding me?
life to ever gaze upon the glory of this pearl in the Black Sea. The truth is,
Why?
Izuku wasn't quirkless. He only turned into a werewolf once every month during the nighttime in the full moon, but only when its rays could shine on him, not from a window. Considering he thought he was without power for close to 120 lunar cycles, he was also quite unlucky. Izuku Harem. 2 chapters, 7,000 words. Izuku times Ochanko, Momo, and Mina.
Yeah. Probably more as well.
Maybe more, yes.
Most likely more, considering
This
The
is
max cap on characters, and it's just X harem.
This is just a really cringe. I have to say, this is really,
Yeah.
really cringe. Yeah,
Is this even worth
Izuku,
looking
for
at?
10 whole years, Izuku never had the light of a full moon shine on him. And so he never turned into his quirked form, the werewolf. That's practically being quirkless. Like, you can, I only have a quirk during a full moon when it's a clear sky at night and I'm outside.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a very useful quirk. Midoriya Inko was a mother that was well accustomed to shame. Ever since that day where her son was given the terrible fate of being normal. Normal in a world where everyone was extraordinary. The moment where the doctor ruthlessly explained that her son would never amount to anything. Everything he valued crumbled. They robbed away his dreams from him, everyone did, and she could do nothing but say I'm sorry, crying while trying to embrace him when he asked her if he could still be a hero, watching the same video of his idol repeatedly, the state of the disc reflecting his own, now broken. I don't see why he couldn't be a hero. So this is a plot point in My Hero Academia, one of many of why I don't like My Hero Academia, that I never really understood. Like, why does him not having powers bar him from being a hero? Like, what if your quirk is just, oh, I don't know, I'm invisible.
Like,
Why
no
is-
offense to invisible heroes, but someone who's good enough at stealth could replicate that.
Yeah, well, not only that, like, if the whole point of you can't be a quirk, you can't be a hero because you don't have a quirk, so that prevents you from doing something, like, you know, doing some sort of super punch or some sort of like capture method, or, you know, some sort of special attack that would take villains down. It's like, okay, what about the invisible hero? How is she gonna take people down? She can't see herself.
Sneaking, I guess.
Like, I just want to reinforce that, by the way. She can't see herself. Canonically.
I mean, that's not a huge problem. Sneaky, you and I are proof of the fact that people can keep track of their bodies without being able to know where they are.
Yeah, sure, but knowing where your fist is when you're trying to punch someone.
No, I'm not even talking about blind people. Like, just people without depth perception. Yes, blind people also exist.
Yeah, but knowing where, there's a little bit of a difference though between being visible and not being visible. Izuku, I want to be a hero. Taylor Herbert, listen to me, kid. Yes.
I don't think you want that kid.
Have I ever told you a story? But no, but point being is, like, how is the invisible person gonna?
Well, they've been invisible for over 3/4 of their life at that point.
Yeah.
So they've most certainly grown accustomed to that.
Sure, they've grown accustomed to it, but like they don't have superpowers though. Like they don't have super strength or super speed or some sort of knockout ability. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they're also a woman. So, well, that's important.
Yeah, I know. It's just the way you said it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm gonna go square up.
You could have worded that better.
Maybe.
There's a lot of wording you could have had there that's not
Maybe.
quite so bad.
I'm just saying, like, they're not gonna because, like, yeah, okay, wow, they're invisible. That doesn't give them an advantage to 1v1ing the super muscular guy hero whose power is the ability to like crush
Okay, but
buildings
Sneaky,
with his thoughts.
Like,
Well-
it doesn't matter whether or not they're a guy or a girl is irrelevant to that guy can make his skin hard as steel. Like,
right,
a guy
yeah.
who's invisible isn't gonna be getting anything out of the invisibility there either.
Yeah, like there's so many people, there's so many characters in My Hero Academia that are canon that just wouldn't be affected by someone being invisible. Like
Which
either
is why
they
for a
have
neutral special, he wields a gun.
right.
I mean, I don't know if the author really meant this far ahead when they first had the interaction between All Might and Izuku, but there's thing like you don't need a quirk to help people. You can do emergency services. There are all kinds of places that will take you in for basic training as well.
Oh no,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
Like,
And
Hero
All Might,
itself is
I'm pretty
meant to be
sure
a
All Might did
flash.
say that, didn't he? Like in the
Yeah,
canonical,
it's
No,
you
he's
don't need
like,
a quirk to
go
help.
be a paramedic or a cop.
yeah,
But Hero itself is specifically a job.
yeah,
Hero went from being an ideal
yeah,
to a job in that world. That's what people get focused on.
yeah.
That's
No,
why Stain has his whole like big ideology.
yeah, and there's no reason why he can't be a hero. Like,
Well, we find out that UA does this, so presumably all the other hero schools do as well. There's an entire section of people with quirks, whether useful or useless, that just make support gadgets.
right? Well, my
You can
point being,
find a suit.
there's
you can find an
there's
exosuit.
multiple heroes that literally just don't have useful quirks, so they use guns.
Yeah. They
Like,
do,
sure, there's a
like-
couple whose quirk is gun, but they're the rarity.
There's one that whose quirk is gun. There's another one whose quirk is anything I shoot, I can bounce or whatever. But point being is that they still use
Isn't there
guns.
a character that's literally just a gun?
Yes, I just said that. Yeah, my God. Yeah, no, like there's characters that literally are just like, yeah, I don't really have a great power, so my power is this gun I found. So like he is fully capable of being a hero as a profession still.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is, again, I don't think the author thought this through, but like, there's a very big importance in the wording of can I be a hero like All Might? In which case, the answer for most people actually is no.
Oh yeah, no,
'Cause All
absolutely.
Might would
The
fucking freak.
Yeah, no, the answer is absolutely no, depending on how the angle of the question is. If you're saying, like, can I be a hero like All Might, a guy who's, like, maybe not taking on the biggest or baddest dudes, but just, in general, being in the front lines, saving people with all they have. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, you
which,
can.
Again, that's one of those things that always confuse me, because Izuku in his late teen years, like, I just wanted someone to say yes, I could be a hero, but as growing up, his question was always a hero like All Might in almost every single instance.
Yeah, and that...
Although the kid focusing on the whole quirkless hero thing, that's just kids being shitty.
Oh, yeah, no, obviously,
That
yeah.
really is just kids being kids. It's the
Uh,
older kids and the adults.
it's the
around that are like,
adults
"Guys,
that-
are you serious?"
Yeah.
I would like to point you to one of All Might's close friends, one of the captains in the police force, who doesn't seem to
I
have
want to see a
useful
story
quirk.
where Taylor adopts Izuku. I think there's a couple stories out there where Taylor trains Izuku. I think that's the closest any of them ever
I
get.
feel like we had one of those on stream.
We
Actually,
did.
For,
It wasn't
training.
great. Yeah. No, she like occupied the house near a mall or something, and like attacked people with bees or whatever when they tried to rob her. And she picked up the
Not the bees.
French dude
Sorry.
as a student.
I like the idea though of Taylor doesn't believe in becoming the old cat lady. She believes in becoming the crazy bee lady.
I mean,
You know
certainly
what this
upgrade.
problem is? The solution, Taylor, don't, is bees! Taylor, please. Bees!
There are just hives hidden all around the city that she's been planting for the last 15 years.
Bees!
Bee mines.
Oh god, the bees. But no, yeah. It's just like
man, that's more. I'm sorry. I just imagine Taylor shows up to the All for One fight. It's like,
Taylor
you
is
gotta admit,
absolutely
you
a Karen. 100% Taylor is Karen.
She's a very dangerous Karen, though. She can actually back her bullshit up.
And it is still bullshit, it's just because she can back it up.
Yeah. But, I wonder if what she did to Lung would work against All for One. Just overwhelm every fucking system in the body.
Well,
with
I mean,
Black
considering
Widow
the
and
fact
Black
that One for All did that exact thing of punching him so hard he had a hard time regenerating from it, I certainly believe that if she stung him with enough poison, it would work. The problem is that he could probably kill all the bugs before they were able to inject enough poison into him.
Yeah, one Texas smash and you've kind of got a problem.
Yeah.
Taylor would be super.
But yeah, no, I kind of always just really enjoy the I will defeat you, but the power of friendship and this gun I found trope. I really enjoy that.
This gun is quite literally powered by friendship, in fact. Wait, what?
Yeah, this gun actually shoots beams of friendship. Oh, so like makes people your friend. Oh no, it
later...
like carves holes in people.
No,
You see, the more friends I have,
the powerful the bullet gets. It has been wild, let me tell you.
I mean, this is literally.
you know, Sneaky, I gotta say, I wouldn't mind you having that gun.
It'd be
He doesn't
useless
have
for
friends.
him.
Taylor would
Yes.
be super pro mask. No, I think Taylor, like post GM Taylor, would actually be anti mask.
Yeah, based.
Like she is.
Okay,
Like,
so young Taylor is on the side of Captain America. Older Taylor is on the side of Iron Man.
this gun is powered by friendship. Persona 5 protagonist.
Also true. Yes. That is true.
Yeah. Was Captain America pro mask?
Oh yeah, that was
He
the whole. That was literally
He-
Civil War.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, he was full on like they should be allowed to keep
Not
their
be. We should not have to disclose our identities to the government.
Yeah.
Look at how
Right,
badly the
right.
government has fucked up.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I mean, it is fair. It is a fair point, but yeah, no. Taylor, to post GM Taylor would definitely be anti-mask because like a lot of the problems that occurred in Worm, not even during her lifetime, but just in Worm in general, were directly due to the whole respecting the mask policy of like, oh well. His name's Hookwolf when his mask is on, but he's really Brad Sanders when he takes the mask off, and we can't arrest Brad Sanders for what Hookwolf does. And so basically a lot of problems came out of this whole like respecting the two identities thing. And so yeah, she would definitely be like, no, fuck that shit.
She has pretty good reason for it. So.
Oh yeah, no, definitely a good reason for it. Just
Now, see, like I said, there's a book series called Wearing the Cape.
yeah.
It's actually really good because if you're going right, people who are going to be superheroes have to disclose it to a government entity, but that government entity keeps every single one of its files
Yeah.
in a literal extra-dimensional space disconnected from the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you've disclosed your identity to the government,
Mm-hmm.
you are allowed to testify in your mask.
Okay, yeah. Interesting.
Because the right to confront your right, you can absolutely confront your accuser
Yeah.
as is required by U.S. law with them wearing the mask because the government knows who they are.
Right.
And of course, right, then there's the whole thing where it's like, oh, well, it's not fair because the government knows, but I don't know, right? Whole thing, sure, whole thing. And they go into that in the books, but, right, the author thought about it.
Yeah, it's fair. It's a lot farther than a lot of people go. Back then, she wished she could protect her quirkless son from the outside world, but that was a sick lie. Okay.
Wanting to protect her kid?
Yeah. Here she was, every time her son came back from school sporting fresh injuries, like a medal marking his lack of something, the handicap he was born with. But her brave son pushed through it all. He powered through school despite the insults, despite the scolding, despite the shame, and despite the scorn, enduring it all to the end. Then he took a gun to school one day.
Oh shit.
And all the other
Plot twist
kids
that
would
she gave
come
it to
up. Plot twist, she gave it to him. Holy shit,
Oh, fuck.
Max.
Bruh.
Plot
Active
twist,
parenting.
Inko is actually a retired madame. There was a time where Inko allowed herself the inkling of hope. Her son's bullying started soon after the classmates realized that despite being over 4 years of old, he had no quirk. It wasn't hard to see as Zuko healed from his injuries slightly faster than usual. They'd always been taller than normal. For someone that barely exercised, her son was also in shape. Unwilling to give her son false hope, however, she rushed to the same doctor, hoping he would say the same thing. He would say something new. The results, she bit her lips when she heard the familiar ring on the door. She checked the clock. Izuku was right on time. Her steps were hesitant, her fingers trembling. Inko was a mother who was afraid to see her own son, and that's what hurt her the most. She could never give to her son what he wanted, and the sight of his hunched back, flat eyes, and slightly depressive demeanor was all scathing reminders of her failure, something that needed to change, and that something ended up being a villain. You know, honestly, for a second there, I thought she was gonna say like hunched back, flat eyes, and like elongated claws or some shit. She'd be like, yeah, he's just passively a werewolf.
Yeah, you know.
He's a Nosferatu, clearly.
He sure is hairy.
Holding the burned notebook close to his torso with both of his hands, as opposed to with all three hands, Izuku dawdled along the way, desperately trying to look for any page of his book that was still salvageable. Reaching a tunnel, only one thought was in his mind: Kachan, you jerk. As a quirkless child, Izuku had to get used to the constant bullying he faced. I would just also like to point out, just it wasn't just because you were quirkless, Izuku. It's because you were a fucking doormat. So you kind of deserved it, to be honest. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
As a kid who got bullied relentlessly in early school, when you're a doormat, you will get bullied, and when you stop being a doormat, that's when they stop bullying you.
Now, let's be clear. The asshole that is I can't even remember his name because he's just such a shitlord.
Kachan.
Yeah, whatever. Right? He won't. He's the kind of jackass that will keep doing.
Oh no,
but everyone else
yeah.
will be like,
yeah, everyone else will move on. But yeah, it's just you kind of deserved it. Like you literally, like canonically, you chased after your bully and just accepted being abused as part of being quote unquote friends with him, like a fucking Narutard, like a full on grew up only watching Naruto retard. I'm gonna chase after this guy who, despite trying to kill me 3 times, I still declare my best friend. Which is kind of actually an insult to like
Izuku the masochist? Question mark.
Like
And
honestly,
then he actually became his best friend.
honestly, it's actually kind of an insult to the rest of Naruto's friends that this guy who tried and almost killed Naruto multiple occasions is still considered the best friend. It's like, bro, do you just like not hang out with your other friends? Like the dude who's trying to kill you is still your best friend?
Like the insult to Shikamaru, like genuinely, Shikamaru tried to be a good friend.
Yeah.
A good person.
Yeah.
And No.
No.
Like, Hinata tried to be a good friend. Kiba, not the best of friends.
Hinata
but an okay
died
one.
for him.
I mean, to be
Oh.
fair, he married Hinata.
Yeah, later on.
That's because
but...
he couldn't marry Sasuke.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, later on he married Hinata, like, it only took, like, an entire fucking war for him to go and marry Hinata. After saving her from the moon Nazis that were hidden inside the hollow moon.
Bullshit.
I thought we didn't talk about that.
It's canon, we're talking about it!
I thought we agreed as a people to never speak of that again.
No.
I don't know. Sneaky and I talk about it from time to time because it's fucking hilarious.
My favorite part about that entire movie has nothing to do with what's actually going on with the main character. My favorite part about the entire fucking movie is everyone goes, oh no, the moon is going to crash into the planet. And fucking A, with his goddamn smirk on his face, just comes out and goes, oh, good thing I created an anti-moon laser cannon then. And everyone's just like, you what?
When the fuck did you do that?
Oh.
He's like,
like
yeah,
the
I
fucking-
diverted a bunch of funds to go create a giant railroad-based laser cannon pointed at the moon. And at no point in time was anyone in the movie just like, why? They just
I mean, to be fair,
accepted
there was
it.
a lot of shit in the movies that don't make sense. Like, the
Sneaky.
kunai machine gun train that happened in the first movie.
Well, that's not canon,
like-
though.
Yeah, that one's not canon.
Oh yeah, I forgot that one's not
Yeah,
canon.
Naruto the Last is the only canon movie.
Yeah.
But like, I get the feeling they didn't comment on it, Sneaky, because like, well, you know, if we don't ask him where he got his super weapon, he won't ask us where we got ours or where we've been hiding it.
I sort of feel
Konoha
like
just-
I sort of feel like it's just like in line. It's so in line with A's character that everyone
it
kind of
is.
just accepted it.
For
They're just
sure.
like, oh, all right,
Like,
fair
yeah,
enough.
sure, he made a moon cannon.
All right.
I mean, my favorite part about that movie is forever going to be the reveals from both. Like, he's got a moon cannon for some reason, and Konoha found another like 7 to 8 people to have trained up with the 8 gates,
Yeah.
and they're a dedicated squad. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, so we're just gonna commit casual war crimes, huh?
It's time
Prep-
for war
yeah.
crimes.
Prepping for that next war, huh, guys?
We
Even
aren't
though
doing
you're in a
casual
time of
war crimes,
peace.
we're doing competitive war crimes.
Also, real question, because apparently shit really goes down in Boruto.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened to all those super weapons and super squads?
They
Like,
got sold.
They
guess-
got written out.
I guess they just don't
They,
exist.
the countries didn't keep paying their subscription fee,
Yeah.
Yes. Of
So they
course.
lost
always
access
get
to
you
the-
in those sub fees.
Yeah, they lost access to their premium weapons because they thought they could let their sub fee lapse.
Yeah. They canceled their Amazon Prime subscription, and Jeff Bezos took their super weapons away. Can't have shit in the Fire Nation. Where the fuck?
Anyway,
I mean, you can't. So
True.
let's see, blah 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 blah. His ex-best friend, Izuku mentally corrected, was probably the cruelest of them all, being the spearhead and leader of the bullying campaign against him. Throughout his time in the public system of schooling, Izuku had suffered from some of the most dangerous forms of bullying, both physical and mental.
And once again,
I mean,
the
to be
author
fair,
is
being
self-inserting.
exploded is a pretty dangerous form of physical bullying.
I mean, yeah, I'll give that to him, but he never had someone try and kill him. So, after all, he is a quirkless person. Even when cornered by multiple students armed with powerful quirks, while there was multiple restrictions placed on public usage of quirks, who would believe the quirkless child? Well, again, so this is something that a lot of authors really don't understand.
It's been exploding me. I don't know. That's kind of hard to prove, kid. Oh yeah, hold on. What about the third-degree burns?
Yeah.
That's pretty compelling, kid.
So you can say the school was corrupt, right? You can say the school was corrupt, But I'm sorry, but when 5 kids come out and say that this one kid did something, the school just accepts the 5 kids are the one telling the truth, okay? You know, mass reporting has been a thing since literal first grade. I hate to break this to you, author, but it's not because they're quirkists or there's some sort of racist against people that like don't have quirks or something. No, it's just schools don't give a shit. And that if 5 kids come forward saying kid 6 is the one that did XYZ, the school's just gonna go, wow, that was easy to figure out, and punish the kid.
Right, unless there's some kind of massively extenuating circumstance, right?
Yeah.
Like for instance, the kid going, "This kid exploded me! Look, I've got third-degree burns all over my face!"
Okay, Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, I know, I did that on purpose.
Blackwell got the job.
Oh, no.
Yes, that explains everything.
Oh, dear.
They thawed Blackwell out of cryogenic storage just to give her a job in Japan teaching a bunch of
We
grade
need someone
schools.
who will look the other way for like $100 extra a month.
Dude.
Well, okay, in fairness to Blackwell, she didn't look the other way, yeah, she did look the other way for money, but like, she had a lot of other problems to deal with at that school that Arcadia did not.
Well, yes, while fair, you know, it's still.
Well, it's fair. It's funnier for me to think of the other way.
Yeah. While it's a fair statement of yes, she had lots of other problems to deal with. It is also an even bigger problem if a student comes forward and is like, I have video and audio evidence, which Taylor never did because she's a fucking dipshit and deserved every bit of fucking bullying she received.
She never
had proof.
Anyway.
First off, she never had proof.
Yeah.
She accused the most popular kids in school of doing things, and she never had proof of them doing anything. And then got pissy when no one believed her.
Amazing.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna come out and I'm going to accuse the president of executing children in his free time. And why is no one believing me? I don't know. Do you have video evidence? No. Do you have audio evidence? No. Do you have any messages from him? No. All right. What do you have? I have a handwritten book where I wrote about all of the events in. Okay, so you have a handwritten book that tells your perspective on what you think happened in all of these events. And you want to submit this as legal proof.
Oh. Interesting tactic, but alright.
It's like, Taylor, you're so wrong, what the fuck? No. I will die on this fucking hill. Taylor deserves 90% of the bullying she received. Well, of course the media praised him. They love touching kids.
Bruh. Not incorrect.
It's got a point.
But, anyway. Point being, is that, no, Taylor absolutely deserved the bullying she got, and Taylor is, like, peak teenager syndrome. She really was. Like, she would complain about a bunch of things, and then do absolutely nothing to fix any of them. Just keep complaining about it.
Like, I know she was poor, but, like, she wasn't so... Right, she did receive money from Danny. Not a lot,
Yeah.
I'll admit. But if she just left all that money at home and said, boy, I keep getting bullied, maybe if I save up for a camera...
Well, man...
Right, or a microphone. Right? No. Okay, look. I'm just gonna Google a small audio recorder right now, right?
Well, okay, yeah. No, I get what you're saying, and yeah, while in that era, they might have been a bit more expensive. Actually, I just realized something. A really critical. Shit.
Okay, look, you can get one that's barely the size of a thumb
So I just realized
for
something critical,
$30.
guys.
You do go on.
According to Wildbow, international shipping ground to a halt.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's what it is.
Taiwan is one of the only
Oh.
countries that builds chipsets.
Ooh.
Yeah.
International shipping has ground to a halt. Yet somehow, everyone's buying phones and computers still.
Yeah, well, I mean, the
Think your
US
tech.
does have some domestic chip production, and I'm
In
sure
fact, Sneaky,
in the event of a catastrophe,
Ye-
it would ramp up, not
in
to
fact,
the
Sneaky,
scale of like
here's an important point.
servicing the entire world, but
yes,
Up
but we
until
don't have the
Sne-
the rare earth metal deposits that we needed for them, though.
True.
Okay, but Sneaky, up until like 12 years ago, using mostly rare earth metals in the US, we were one of the leading manufacturers. Like,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
yeah, there's some in the US.
and the
just not
only
a lot.
reason, let's be clear, the only reason that the US stopped being one of the leading chip manufacturers
It was
is because
cheaper
it
to
stopped
import.
investing in it.
Yeah. No, I know. I used to work at a chip manufacturing plant.
Yeah.
Taylor has the money to seemingly replace her school supplies nearly every other week, but can't seem to get a camera or any sort of proof. Yeah. After Leviathan's wake, I imagine countries would be more dependent on domestic products. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's just like, wow, the rest of the world must be an absolute shithole. Cause like, Chile ain't gonna be producing any chipsets. I guess flying them in, but that's gonna be a massive restriction on product movement.
Yeah. You can't like Berlin airlift the entire world economy. That's
Yeah.
not
No.
gonna work.
Yeah, so man, once again, despite it being a post-apocalyptic bleak future, the US is still one of the best countries to live in.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Well, it turns out being one of the largest countries in the world capable of being self-sufficient,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like-
imagine that.
like genuinely speaking, the United States, partially because of its size, partially because of its location, in the event of an apocalypse, is in one of the best places to recover because it is so capable of being self-sufficient. China is another one.
Yes, AU, where Pinochet was never removed from power.
No,
I-
Arn. My point:
Mm,
ignoring the Chinese government,
No, even
China
then,
has the size to have areas that are relatively unaffected by
sure.
most natural or man-made disasters, much like the U.S. It
Yeah.
has plenty of climates in which you can successfully grow food with little issue. It has multiple deposits of metal,
Yeah,
both
okay,
rare
so
and non-rare earth.
yeah, but the problem is this something I've actually been learning about a lot of, is the deposits in China are absolute garbage.
Yeah.
But Sneaky, it doesn't matter if it's absolute garbage if the only thing you're competing with is also absolute garbage.
Oh, I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I'm not contradicting you. I'm just saying, like, as a term of like usability, in a term of efficiency, in terms of just like everything about it. It's like they're all just really bad deposits, really poor quality deposits.
Right. Yes, they're very bad, but they have them.
Yes.
Having them, even in a bad form, is better than not having them at all.
I wonder if some capes in China triggered from their credit score lowering.
Oof.
Most
Probably.
likely, yeah.
Probably. Everyone would be China, man. And they all compete with each other to see how patriotic they can be. I'm just kidding.
But
They're
yeah,
all
like I said,
brainwashed.
yeah. Anyway, it's time for me to go get dinner.
Yeah, you do that. Let's wrap up here.
It is 9.
It's not that they don't believe me. It's that I don't care. No, they also don't believe you. Lost in his darker thoughts, Izuku didn't notice the gooey mud-like substance erupt from the sewer. And bulbous mass enveloped him. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. All Might. Blah 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 blah. Blah blah blah. And then he went to go punch, but as he threw the punch, all One for All sputtered out, and just kidding. No, he blew him apart. And blah 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 cannon. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 cannon. Blah blah blah. His body moved faster. The next thing was flying. The rush of the wind. Blah blah blah. It blitzed through the city at speed. Blah blah blah. Grasp he had on All Might's leg. Blah blah blah. And that was the start of the career as a hero. Come on, seriously. Blah blah blah. Beach. Oh yeah. So okay. So we're basically going with canon happened. So what was the point of this entire section here? Like, all of this was just canon. Nothing changed. Not even wording changed. It was literally just copy and pasted dialogue. Taylor needs a cannon. Bitches love cannons.
Yep. Bitches do in fact love cannons.
Yes, point.
China in an apocalypse would kill more people than the apocalypse? Probably. I mean, they're already doing it.
Yeah.
Jin, do you watch the China Insight videos? Because, like, holy shit.
It is
Holy
amazing.
shit. Like, oh yeah, for wine, they like take some wine, but then they fill the rest of the bottles with water, and then they take industrial chemicals that taste like wine and fill the rest of the bottle with the industrial chemicals.
Yeah.
And like they inject eggs with glue so that there's more egg inside the egg. And like they fill crabs with glue so you have fresher crabs for longer because it's all glued now, so it can't rot anymore.
Yeah.
Oh god, the stuff they do in China is absolutely horrendous. Yeah, the cardboard, yeah. Do you want some cardboard meat buns?
Yeah. Drying agents put inside fruit.
Oh, what was that one? Sterilization chemicals put on grapes?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Also the tofu dreg projects. That stuff's fucking wild and
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, blah blah blah. Canon. Canon. His body adopted it extremely quickly. And Izuku got strong really fast, and so Izuku got One for All really quickly too. Blah blah blah. Heavy thud. Are you alright, Midoriya? I guess they're exercising in the middle of night during a full moon. And then Izuku turns into a wolf. A giant wolf. blah blah blah. My young disciple is a fucking werewolf. Wow, that's a way to end your chapter. Also, fucking after you write this chapter and you have the balls to put a Patreon up.
Wow.
That is, you are something else. That's Hidden Sword. No, it's specifically Hidden Sword.
Is it still up?
Here we go, Hidden Sword. No, I don't want to check out. I just want to.
Oh, wait. Oh, you must be 18 plus or more to view this. Let's see. Alright, so he has 9 patrons somehow. Earning about
what the fuck?
$70 a month.
$4 for a special tip? Fucking mandatory $4 tip. Are you shitting me, dude? You come in here with a story like this and you have a mandatory $4 minimum on tips?
Jesus Christ.
You absolute shit stain.
Wow.
$6.50 is the next level. $13 is the next level.
Hey, wait, 650. Hang on, I know those numbers.
Get a chapter 2 weeks ahead of time for a total of 6 chapters. How many stories is your dipshit ass working on? Because they're all garbage. Wait, hold on. You only have 5 stories, but you're saying I get 6 chapters ahead of time? 9 chapters ahead of time?
Yeah, we're fucking right.
God, this is so $25. I swear, if this guy has a single warlock, I will personally drive to his house and beat him to death with a shoe. A Gamer's Guide to Being a Crusader, High School DxD. That's gonna be a blatant Shiro, inspired by Shiro, fucking garbage story. Probably.
I mean, yeah. Obviously,
Female Belle times OC times harem. That's cringe. It's a dungeon story.
Yeah.
God, these stories are so fucking bad. Ascension to Heaven, another dungeon story. Lightning strikes twice, and Tion now finds himself in this world with cultivation.
I checked the Gamer's Guide to Crusading thing.
Yeah.
At the bottom, the author's note says they started from discussion on how Shiro was lacking wrath, envy, and gluttony.
I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it.
What?
Yeah.
I called it the Gamer's Guide to Crusading was directly inspired by Shiro.
Of fucking course it was.
Is Orf still on his server?
Yeah, I think so. I've read The Crusader. It has Saga of Tanya the Evil hidden in as a dungeon crossover. God, that's fucking cringe. God, this is just so cringe. Like, oh my god, $4 minimum. The dude is making a minimum of $36 a month somehow.
He's making like 70.
70?
600 Norwegian krona, so about $70. Yeah.
You
from 9 patrons.
Kidding me?
Unfortunately, not.
Fucking Christ. Meanwhile. Meanwhile, we have $11 a month.
Pain. I mean, you also only have one tier and no rewards.
Yeah, but some people
No.
pay us more.
Well, I mean, yeah, 9 pairs, $11 still. Like, I think you'd get more there if you had any incentive for people to donate more. Obviously.
Yeah, but what else could we offer?
I don't know. Make a Discord server, give them roles,
Yeah, fucking
sell them
Christ.
$4 Discord.
Yeah, sell them $4 fucking Discord rolls. Yeah. You know what? Maybe we might even fuck it. You know.
Yeah, honestly, like at this point, what do you have to lose?
My sanity.
What Saturday?
Why are we on the donation page? Because the guy we just covered, Gray, has a donation page as well, and minimum to join his donation list is $4, and you get no benefits. It's the description of the $4 tier is this is just a donation. He has a minimum $4 tip.
Yep.
For his excellent work. And Aaron volunteered himself to be an admin for our Discord server. We're gonna have to make for our stories.
I mean, I do it. Just expect about the same thing as, you know, the other server I'm already adminning in. Well, for you.
Yeah, that's about what I expect. I expect basically you to be non-existent and to not give a shit.
Yep.
So he's
That
a
is
wretch.
exactly
Yes.
what you get.
Yes. Yeah. Cringe, big cringe. So yeah, that's that. We'll see everyone on. Actually, we might not see everyone on next Friday. So here's the story. I have a family member who is showing up on
Unfortunately.
Saturday, who is insane,
Ah.
and she's a vax-maxing, mask-wearing psychopath who is a absolute hypocrite because she goes out to parties and she is flying on a plane to get here, but is demanding that everyone in the house be vaccinated and take a PCR test before she shows up. And on top of that, no one's allowed to leave the house while she's there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cool story.
Yeah.
So-
So I won't be getting the vaccine. And because of that, I
Based.
also won't be here for the next week.
fair enough.
So I'll be leaving on Friday to drive down to Florida and visit my mom as I proceed to milk her for expensive meats and cheeses.
Based.
Because that's what happens every time I visit her these days, is she buys a bunch of really, really expensive tasty meats and cheeses, and I proceed to eat them all, because she knows exactly how to bribe me. And I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'll be doing, and I'll be back. Apparently they leave next Saturday, so they'll be there for the full week. So all of next week won't be happening, and I guess this Friday will also not be happening.
No. I mean, that's kind of good from my thing, because I'm getting fucking wisdom teeth removed Monday.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be here for next week anyway.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, don't worry, Gray. I'll make the server again.
Oh boy.
Yeah, boy. Time to
God.
make money.
Time to make money and time to circulate that popularity, because apparently we're popular, like disturbingly popular on space battles.
You know, as you told Lupine a few years ago,
Yeah.
you gotta monetize that popularity.
Gotta monetize it, baby. Come on,
Yeah,
gotta
before
make
you
that
lose it.
money.
Yeah, I mean, one day you'll lose it.
Yeah, I mean,
No one's this popular forever.
Lupine still has people begging him to come back and make Fate's Gamble 7 or whatever. So.
I mean, yeah.
Why?
Because people have really shit tastes, as I've learned.
Oh.
Yeah. Some people are just psychopaths.
I don't want to be popular, I just want to write. Yeah, great. What I've found out is that being popular lets you get money, which allows you to keep writing without having to do anything else.
Imagine that.
So
Yep.
it's a useful success. So,
Yeah.
anyway, that's it for tonight. We'll see you all next time, whenever next time is. Because there will be a next time. Because there is always more. And it always gets worse.